Hey everyone, this is Jordan with Sith Saber Props. Today I'm bringing you my Saberforge Adept install. I just completed this the other night. It only took me about an hour or two to go ahead and do. It was a very simple install, nothing special, just a crystal focus 10 RGB LED. But really, what I really like about this install is the switch I used. What I ended up having to do was use 2 switches in this one hole. So I suggest going to RVG Customs on Etsy and buying as many of these switches as you can from them. I absolutely love them. Now, let's go ahead and boot this saber up. It doesn't have a kill key in it right now. The recharge port is under this panel right here. So I actually let the saber go into its deep sleep mode, and I'll go ahead and charge it once the battery gets low. So that way you never really have to remove this panel. No dust is getting in there, so you don't really need a kill key. And the deep sleep mode will give it about 18 months shelf life with a full battery. This is Corellian by Genesis Custom Sabers. Look at the spectrum. Change your colors. Let's get a nice green in here. Now, personally, I don't really like Star Wars Rebels. I really like Ezra. I love this saber design. It screams New Jedi Order. It screams Jacen Solo. It really looks like a speeder by candle at times, so throttle, so it kind of screams corran horn. So I use Corellian for it, and I just kind of pretend that it's something from the New Jedi Order, something that I can apply to Jacen Solo, maybe Ben Skywalker even, made in light of his own dad's saber right here. Kind of has that look to it, with the thin neck, of course. But it looks distinct enough for his rebellious phase, and kind of like a dark saber, like his mother. And given that he would have made it towards his apprenticeship with Jacen Solo, kind of fits that look for me. Let's go ahead and turn it off. So the bottom switch is ignition, top one is blaster, auxiliary. They're very small. They're not hard to push, but you're not accidentally going to push these. They're very distinct when you press over them. So let's go ahead and actually take a look at the install real quick. We gotta just unthread your pommel here. It's a simple install. Really, not a whole lot special going on. We have a bass speaker right here and a simple Saberforge chassis, extra one that I had lying around, regular battery, 18650 lithium ion. Really, just simple install. Red, green, blue LED, no accent LEDs, nothing special, but it gets the job done. And with this saber, all you need is that. All you need is to get the job done with this. There's really no way to get all of these parts taken apart. Saberforge won't let you. They go ahead and they Loctite all of this on together, and I know these are separate parts. The inside are chromed, so that means they're all separate parts because the inside of these parts are not chromed, and they need to be separate to chrome them. So, it's unfortunate. I would have liked to do a crystal chassis in this one. I've done smaller and harder crystal chassis than this would have been, but we just have a regular install here. So let's go ahead and pop a blade in. You have this small dinky little emitter kill key, or blade plug, for a small blade in. Personally, when I got this hilt, I got it because it kind of reminded me of the Reborn from Jedi Outcast. If you look at their hilts in game, they're very simple. They're all black and straight, but they have a similar kind of style of emitter. And that's kind of what I liked about this. It looked like it was a lightsaber for someone who didn't want a complex lightsaber. They just want to be able to turn it on and on. Let's turn our light off. Check out the spectrum. Now, actually, the spectrum has 2 modes. You have kyber spectrum and you have regular spectrum. When you have a crystal chamber that's wired in with the accent pads, you don't want to do Kyber Spectrum. It won't follow along, it won't keep the same color as your blade. But if you don't have a crystal chamber, or if it's wired parallel, then you can do the Kyber Spectrum. Now, the regular Spectrum is twist the hilt and press the auxiliary. This chooses from your presets of blade colors that you make. You can have up to 32 using the current Crystal Focus firmware. Pressing both down will bring us to the Kyber dial, which goes ahead and mostly goes through every possible color combination that your LEDs can make. Not every single one, but the overwhelming majority of them. So let's find a nice color to stick with. Let's try yellow. Yellow's a very new Jedi Order color. I like Corran's lightsaber, yellow-orange. That Dark Jedi from Dark Forces, was it Dark Forces 1? You know, one of Jarek's. Yoon, I think his name was. He was the one that turned good at the end. He regretted being led down the dark path. Something like that. I can't remember his name. Nice green again. Blasters. Very simple. Very sturdy hilt. Of course, the chrome plating attracts fingers, or fingerprints, so you want to put on some gloves. But it's very good for rolls due to the choke right here. Now, you have our Luke V2 here again. Also good for some rolls, but because of how small this choke is, this thin neck, it just rolls so naturally in the hands. Have a lot of space in here to roll, so I'm trying my best, but let's go ahead and pop this blade back out. There we are. Saberforge Adept. Time to get those fingerprints off. Very simple hilt, very lovely hilt. I very much like it, especially if the RVG custom switches here. If you ever want me to do an install with RVG custom switches, I always have a bunch. I ordered a bunch, I suggest you do too, so I can always go ahead and do that. They're great switches, and I think they work perfectly for this saber. I think without those switches, the saber wouldn't be as fun to use. I like having the full capabilities of the Crystal Focus 10 without having to, go to the single switch mode. So, real quick before we get off, let's see if we can open up this panel here. It can be hard to open. There we go. Got it slid off a bit. Now let's go ahead and look. There's your recharge port. Plug it in for a sec. There you go. I just let it go to its deep sleep mode. There's a small magnet that holds this in place. It's super glued in place, so if you get this from Saberforge, just, beware that the super glue doesn't hold well on metal when you keep, applying some sort of pressure, taking it on and off. So it might come off and you might have to super glue it back together. If you have any questions or you want me to go ahead and do a saber install for you, please feel free to message me here on my YouTube, or you can go ahead to my Facebook, Sith Saber Props, and message me there, and we can go ahead and discuss doing installs. I charge install fees of only $150, and the cost of parts up front. The $150 is due upon completion, and the cost of parts really is a fair price. If you already have all the parts for your saber and you want me to go ahead and do an install for you, or if you just need me to fix a saber, you can send it to me, and I'll typically only charge the service fee of $150, or if it's just a repair, I'll charge even less. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a nice day, and may the Force serve you well.